Have you ever felt like you were being watched while driving alone at night? That creeping sensation that makes you check your rearview mirror again and again even though you know, there's no one there? Sarah Mitchell had driven the Route 34 mountain pass hundreds of times. As a pharmaceutical sales rep, the winding highway through the Cascades was just part of her weekly routine. But on this particular November evening, something felt different. The sun had set earlier than usual, swallowed by dense storm clouds that turned the sky into a bruised, purple mass. Her phone showed no signal, typical for this stretch, and the radio had faded to static about 20 miles back. She was completely alone out here. The highway snaked through dense pine forests, the kind that seemed to lean in toward the road, their branches creating a tunnel of darkness punctuated only by her headlights. Sarah kept her eyes forward, hands at 10 and 2, trying to ignore the way the wind made the trees sway in her peripheral vision. Movement everywhere, yet nothing moving at all. That's when she first checked her rearview mirror and saw him. A figure. Standing on the shoulder of the road. Perfectly still. Sarah's breath caught. She hadn't passed anyone. She was certain of it. The road had been empty for the last 30 minutes. No cars, no rest stops, no turnoffs. Just endless asphalt and trees. She glanced back at the road, then immediately checked the mirror again. Still there. A dark silhouette, maybe 50 yards behind her now, standing exactly where the glow from her taillights faded into shadow. Tall. Wearing what looked like a long coat. Too far to make out any features. Jesus, she muttered, pressing slightly harder on the accelerator. Her heart rate kicked up a notch. Probably just a hitchhiker she'd somehow missed. Maybe he'd come out from the trees. Maybe. But deep down, in that primitive part of her brain that still remembered when humans were prey, Sarah knew something was very, very wrong. The next mile marker crawled by. Sarah's eyes kept flicking to the rearview mirror, unable to help herself. The figure hadn't moved. Still standing there, impossibly still, like a scarecrow abandoned on the roadside. She took a curve too fast, her tires squealing slightly. When she checked again, her stomach dropped. The figure was closer. Not walking. Not running. Just closer. Maybe 30 yards behind her now. Still standing on the shoulder, still motionless, but definitely, impossibly closer than it should be. No, 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 Sarah whispered, her knuckles white on the steering wheel. She was doing 55 in a 45 zone now, the speed limit signs blurring past. The logical part of her mind tried to rationalize it. Distance was hard to judge at night, shadows played tricks, maybe she was just stressed and tired. But when she looked again, it was 20 yards back. The figure was clearer now in the red glow of her brake lights when she tapped them nervously. Definitely a person. Tall, unnaturally tall, maybe 6.5 feet. The long coat hung wrong on their frame, like it was draped over a skeleton. And the face, if there was a face, was just darkness. A void where features should be. Sarah's phone sat uselessly in the cup holder, its no service message mocking her. The next town was at least 40 miles away. 40 miles of empty mountain highway with this thing, somehow keeping pace with her car while standing still. She pressed the accelerator to the floor. 60. 65. The car shuddered as she pushed it faster than she'd ever driven on this road. Trees became a blur of black on either side. The yellow dividing line stroked hypnotically in her headlights. 1 minute. 2 minutes. She didn't dare check the mirror. When she finally couldn't resist anymore, her bladder nearly released. The figure was 10 yards back. Close enough now that she could see it wasn't standing on the shoulder at all. It was standing in the middle of the road, directly behind her car. And its head was tilted. Watching. Sarah's scream died in her throat as she forced her eyes back to the road, her entire body shaking. This wasn't possible. This defied every law of physics, every rule of reality she'd ever known. She was doing 70 miles an hour. 70. Nothing could keep up by just standing there. Unless it wasn't just standing there. Unless it had never been on the road at all. The thought crept into her mind like ice water in her veins, and suddenly she was very, very aware of the space behind her driver's seat. The back seat she hadn't checked when she got in the car. The back seat that was hidden in shadow, just outside the reach of the rearview mirror unless she deliberately tilted it down. No. She'd been alone. She'd gotten in the car in the parking lot at her last client meeting. She'd locked the doors. She'd been alone. Hadn't she? Sarah's eyes stayed glued to the road, but her right hand slowly, tremulously, reached for the rearview mirror. Her fingers brushed the plastic casing. Every instinct screamed at her not to adjust it, not to look down, not to confirm what her hindbrain was now absolutely certain of. In the mirror's current position, she could still see the figure on the road behind her. Still there. Still 10 yards back. still impossibly keeping pace. But what if that was just a reflection? What if she was seeing it in the mirror because it was actually behind her, inside the car, and the glass was showing her its position relative to where SHE was sitting? Please, she whispered to no one. To God. To the universe. Please no. Her fingers tightened on the mirror. She had to know. She couldn't drive 40 more miles not knowing. Better to face it now, whatever it was, than to slowly lose her mind wondering. With a quick motion born of pure terror-fueled adrenaline, Sarah yanked the rearview mirror down. The back seat was empty. The sob that escaped her was pure relief. Empty. Nothing but her briefcase and laptop bag on the seat, exactly where she'd tossed them. She was alone. Then she saw it. The figure. Not in the mirror anymore, but through her rear windshield, directly visible now. 3 yards back. So close she could see the coat wasn't a coat at all, but something that moved wrong like fabric made of shadow. So close she could see the head wasn't tilted. It was bent at an angle no human neck could achieve. So close she could see that the darkness where the face should be was actually filled with something. Dozens of them. Blinking independently. And it was smiling. Sarah's foot crushed the accelerator, the engine roaring in protest. 85. The car shuddered violently as she took a sharp curve, her tires screaming. She'd crash. At this speed, one wrong move and she'd careen off the cliff into the ravine below. But what choice did she have? She stared at the road ahead, refusing to look in any mirror. The highway straightened out for a blissful half-mile stretch, and she pushed the car even harder. 90 miles an hour. Her hands ached from gripping the wheel. Her jaw hurt from clenching her teeth. Maybe she'd outrun it. Maybe at this speed, whatever physics-defying nightmare was tormenting her couldn't keep up. Maybe. A thought stopped her cold. When had she last seen a mile marker? When had she last seen any sign at all? The road looked the same. The trees looked the same. That same curve kept appearing ahead of her, that same straightaway after it. The exact same stretch of highway over and over and over. No, that was just panic. Just her mind playing tricks. Roads looked similar at night. That was all. But then she saw it. A reflector post she'd noticed earlier, broken at an odd angle. She remembered it specifically because she'd thought someone must have hit it. And there it was again. The same broken reflector tilted the same way. And again a minute later. And again. She wasn't moving forward at all. She was driving 90 miles an hour down a loop of highway that shouldn't exist, trapped in some impossible stretch of road with that thing behind her. Sarah's mind began to fracture. This couldn't be real. She was dreaming. She'd fallen asleep at the wheel and driven off the road, and now she was dying in a crashed car, her brain misfiring its last desperate hallucinations. That had to be it. That had to be it. She decided to test it. If this was a dream, she could wake herself up. People always said if you die in a dream, you wake up. Her hands loosened on the wheel. She'd let the car drift. Hit the guardrail. Wake up in a hospital, maybe, but at least wake up somewhere real. But just as she began to turn the wheel toward the cliff, she smelled it. Decay. Old meat. Wet earth. The smell of something that had been buried and dug up again. The smell was inside the car, getting stronger by the second. And then she heard it. A sound that turned her blood to ice. Breathing. Right behind her ear. Sarah's body locked up completely. She couldn't turn around. Couldn't look. The breathing continued, slow and deliberate, each exhale washing that rotten smell across the back of her neck. "You've been running from me," a voice whispered, so close she could feel the words vibrate against her skin. The voice was wrong, layered like dozens of people speaking in unison, some male, some female, some childlike, all discordant. "But I've been with you the whole time." Her lips trembled as she tried to form words. What do you want?" It sounded like laughter, if laughter could curdle and spoil. "What do I want? Sarah, I want what I've already taken. I've been with you since before. Since you started your car at that last meeting. Do you remember getting in?" She did. Of course she did. She'd walked across the parking lot, clicked the unlock button, opened the door, sat down and what? The memory felt slippery, like trying to hold water in her hands. Had she closed the door? Had she immediately started the engine? There was a gap there, a space of missing time she'd never noticed until now. "I was already here," the thing continued, its many-voiced whisper filling the car. "You just didn't see me. Humans never do. Not until we want them to. I've watched you drive. Watched you check that mirror again and again. So anxious. So convinced something was behind you. But I saw you," Sarah managed. "On the road. You were. A courtesy." The thing's breathing grew heavier. "I showed you what you feared to see. But I've been here, right here, since before you even knew to be afraid. Every mile you drove with me. Every song on the radio I listened to. Every thought in your head I heard. Sarah's vision blurred with tears. The broken reflector passed again. And again. The loop continued endless. Why? She sobbed. Because I'm always there, it said. In every car. On every lonely road. In every rearview mirror that shows you something that shouldn't be there. I'm the reason you check behind you. The reason you lock your doors. The reason you look at your back seat before driving away. The breathing stopped. For one blessed moment, Sarah thought it was over. Then something cold and impossibly long wrapped around her shoulders from behind. And now you'll never stop looking, the thing whispered. Even when you think you're alone. Even in your own home. You'll always be checking. Always watching. Always wondering if this time you're truly by yourself. The hands, if they were hands, tightened. Because you're never alone, Sarah. None of you are. We're always on the shoulder. Always in the back seat. Always just behind you. Sarah's scream finally came, raw and primal, as her vision began to go dark. The road ahead stretched on forever, the loop tightening, the impossible highway becoming her prison. The last thing she saw in the rearview mirror before everything went black was herself in the driver's seat. And in the seat beside her reflection, something tall and wrong, its dozens of eyes blinking in satisfaction. 3 days later, a state trooper found Sarah Mitchell's car on Route 34, pulled over on the shoulder, engine still running. The driver's seat was empty. The keys were in the ignition. Her phone was in the cup holder, showing no service. Her briefcase and laptop were in the back seat, undisturbed. But on the rearview mirror, adjusted at an odd angle toward the back seat, investigators found dozens of handprints pressed into the glass from the inside. Prints that matched no one. Prints with too many fingers. Sarah Mitchell was never found. But drivers on Route 34 still report seeing a woman standing on the shoulder late at night, perfectly still, watching cars pass. And those who look too long in their rearview mirrors sometimes notice, with growing horror, that she's getting closer. Even though they never passed her at all.